All right. Hello and welcome to this episode of Boomer and Degen. I'm your host Biz, coming at you live with co-founder Andy. We are, was it February 5th of the trading week and midweek right now. Hump day, happy hump day for some.
As they say,
Yeah, as
as
they
they say.
say, as they say. So, we had a nice, decent. I think the markets were chopping around today, so it wasn't too bad. I was playing around with Sol V, had a nice little shorting opportunity. Also rode it up a little bit, but it seems quite range bound. But it's also approaching like a nice downtrend, where if it breaks, we could see some decent price action. Well, that was my trading day for today. How was yours, Andy? I know you got a couple wins on that one as well.
Yeah, Solvi has been a good coin, and we'll go through why that's been a good coin when we go through sort of like some of the trades, right? But if we kick off with the kind of market, um, you'll notice that the 15 minute is up, the hour is rising a right little bit, but other than that, Bitcoin. Yesterday, if we look at yesterday's candle, we recovered the day before, and then we went halfway back down again. And do you remember a good few days ago now, before it dropped down to this fair value gap, I said it's going down to 96.4, and of course it went much lower eventually,
Yeah.
but it's never mitigated on the day chart, this particular fair value gap. But now it's gone down to it one, two, three times,
Mm.
right? And so there's a chance today that we could go down again. Um, Now, if you look at Bitcoin, it's trade on the 15-minute chart. It's trading within about a 0.5% range now, and has been for like the last since about the last 4 or 5 hours. It's been trading within that range. You disappeared, Biz.
Yeah. One
Um,
sec. I had to close the door.
Yeah, and so if it stays within that range like that, going like this, actually you can do very good longs and shorts in certain coins when you find the right one. And we've mentioned the name of the one that we've both been trading today, but I'll get to that when we go through the other stuff. If we look at our little friend, um, he says 47, still bandering around again, range bound within that. We're nowhere near the altcoin season. The uh, the Spear and Greed Index is back down to 38 because clearly yesterday on the 1 day chart, Bitcoin was tanking again. And we kind of, we're below $100,000 now and have been all day, right? We ended the day yesterday down at 96, right? When I say the end of the day, that's the UTC trading day, 100 hours UTC. Which for Biz hasn't, his new day hasn't started yet. Mine started like 8 hours ago, but so I'm UTC +7. So the new trading day starts at 7 a.m. for me, which actually works out really well because all these percentages in TradingView reset to zero at 7 a.m., which is really brilliant. So I can see now, since I've been trading, how much Bitcoin has gone up and how much the alts have gone up and things like that. But that's why the fear and greed index is back down because there's just a lot of uncertainty. And even more so, there might be even more because the latest announcement from the White House is that he's decided America is going to own Gaza and make it like a Riviera for lots of people to live. God knows where the Palestinians are going to go, but that could really cause some mayhem in the region, right? So who knows? We're in a time when news events can happen like that could affect not just affect crypto, but affect the entire markets.
Yeah.
China have also come back with a lot of tariffs now, back on the United States because the USA tariffs went into effect as it was it yesterday, but like not long ago,
Yeah.
and China has instantly retaliated. So there is now a trade war against China. And just a lot of uncertainty because even the ones against Mexico and Canada were only delayed for 30 days for, which is crazy. If I was an importer, I'd be going, well, does that mean I should really buy a lot now? And if that means using my cash flow, and what happens if they don't go ahead? But what happens if they do go ahead? So you can see how the market is reacting in that very uncertain way, in exactly the same way. If I owned a business in the United States or Canada, I'd be like, whoa, what's the best thing to do? Sit on the fence? What do I do? So the market, it's causing the market to be very, very uncertain, which is not good. Um, the longs and shorts, the liquidations here, um, going down. We're flattening out compared to how we were, which is good. There's almost 50-50, slightly more long rects than short rects. And what this does, by the way, liquidation heat map, in case you don't know, when you are using leverage and using margin trading, if you go into a trade, there's a point at which if it goes against you, let's say you're using 10x, where if it went down more than 10%, you've lost 100%, right? So because you're 10xing, 10 times 10, 100. So if you're using 25x or 30x, then obviously it's a lot less. So this represents everybody that's gone into margin trades and been completely liquidated, lost their, if you put $500 in, you lost that entire $500, right? And that's what this is. Now, as you know, the other day when the tariffs happened, it went $2.3 billion were wrecked, of which 1.8 billion was longs, right? Because people were betting that the price of Bitcoin and cryptos would be going up. And then all these tariffs happened. The market tanked, the Dow Jones tanked, everything tanked, right? But we're sort of leveling out a little bit now, which is, let's see if we can get some stability, which is what we need. Now, yesterday on the stream, before we go to this particular coin that we've been trading, yesterday on the stream, we said, I wonder if the Trump organization are buying Ethereum. Do you remember that, Biz?
Yeah, yeah.
And look what news came in. Eric Trump recommends buying Ethereum after the collapse. So I suspect we were right. They've bought a load of Ethereum cheap, and now they want the price to go up. So they're recommending you go buy Ethereum. So it's like the biggest scam I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
All of this.
wow. Well, I mean, the Ethereum chart doesn't look too bad either right now.
No, I mean, I've always liked Ethereum. I programming in the Solidity, right, on the EVM chain, EVM compatible chains. So I've kind of always been a fan of the whole smart contract Ethereum approach.
Yeah,
Gas was always the problem on
yeah.
Ethereum, of course. They're solving that as they move to layer twos and ZK rollups. I would say ZK, wouldn't I, being English? But for the American way, ZK rollups. I remember Robin Williams saying that if ZZ Top came out and they were an English band, they'd be called ZZ Top, which kind of amused me. But we do say Z, not Z. But yeah, so Eric Trump recommends buying an Ethereum. What a shocker. But Ethereum did get to become very cheap. So is anything else you want to add news-wise before we go on to these coins, Biz?
Well, they had that David Sachs guy just did his press conference, but I think he under delivered the on expectations. Like he didn't really say too much, and so that also had a negative effect. At least a lot of people are kind of downplaying it because he didn't really say much. So I mean,
Remind
there's
me,
a
remind me, and anybody else who this David
David
Sachs
Sachs
is.
guy. Well, he's part of the Chamath, that podcast, the everything that I mean, it's pretty famous, that
Okay.
podcast with the Chamath. Anyhow, he's the crypto Cesar, but there was a press conference. He's supposed to come up with new policies and things like this, and I think he under
Sorry, right. So he's involved in the Trump people, right? In the White House. He's what the cryptos are. Is
yeah,
that where he is?
yeah,
Oh.
cryptos. I don't even know how. To be honest, I look at what the heck is Cesar. I'm like,
Well, I mean, we know where the word "czar" comes from, right? From Russia, but in terms of they've got a czar for everything now. Was it fentanyl czar yesterday that Canada are putting in place, and then there's I think people said Kamala Harris used to be the border czar. Duh, just means boss of, right? Like, you know,
Mm.
in that modern parlance, it just means the boss of that, right? The leader of that. But yeah, so he didn't say anything of interest then.
No, about Bitcoin reserves that they were gonna really double down on making sure that they have Bitcoin reserves. One thing I've actually noticed is that February 18th, there's about 800 million that's of liquidity of crypto assets that those that got affected from the FTX
Oh yeah,
situation, they're gonna start
yeah.
receiving their payouts on February 18th. So that could be a something to watch out for. We don't know. Oh, there's a total of 1.8 billion or something. Well, it's either 1.8 or 1.3 billion that is for the bankruptcy, and so only 800 million is being distributed right now because those people have KYC'd.
Right.
But that's like February 18th is going to be a day to pay, to see how the market reacts to that.
I'm not sure if I had anything on FTX. I don't think I had a lot, which is why I've just ignored it. But
Well, the only it's if users claim 50,000 or less, those are the ones that are going to get paid out, and there's
right,
about 1.8 billion.
is it only though Bitcoin and Doge? Is it just those two? Because I
Uh,
didn't know.
they weren't very specific, so I assume all assets.
I'll check my emails because I've not logged in to it to check. But I don't think I had a lot in there, but I had something in there.
Did you
Anyway, let's.
you would have had to claim it like prior?
Yeah, I might. There was another exchange that I claimed. It was called Cryptopia. Do you remember that one that went out of business?
Yeah, I heard. I remember that one.
There's an Australian one, I think, and I had a little bit in there, and I claimed, but this is many years later. You've still not got anything. Anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about. So Bitcoin in a kind of 0.5% up and down trading range, and as you know, we have these alerts where we talk about rise more, fall less. You know, fall fast, rise less. We have outperforming Bitcoin, and one of the coins that came in today within our alerts has been this. Now, I literally just missed another trade because I was setting up for the stream, but I would have had 25x leverage, 2.5%, which is 50% profit. But now it's retracing again. But if we look at this coin, right, and you'll notice I'm on the 3 minute chart and I've got Bitcoin on the 3 minute chart. What's been happening with this coin is it has little moments where it follows Bitcoin, and then there's other little moments where it just goes, forget it, I'm
Yeah,
going. It's been in this ascending uh, trend thing here. Coming, let me just
almost like
delete
a
this now.
pen. It's like a pendant.
Yes, kind of. Yes. So it's you can see it's been trying to. The last time it came down to this. It created an order block here, but there was a fair value gap it came down into. But there's also this kind of mini little trend line which is now broken down. It's kind of broken beneath it for the last two, but it was obeying it for a short while. But the reason this coin is really good is because when it goes up, like if you go from here to here, it's like a 10% trade. So you can trade it up and then you can trade it back down and you get another kind of 7%. So actually, if you're literally watching your charts, I took a long, then I had to miss a short because I wanted to go buy a coffee. Then I came in and then took a long, so Biz and I have been trading this coin because it's likewise in a similar range but much bigger. So when Bitcoin's just going like this, you can trade a coin like this. So it's been a very good coin. You can see now it's caused a little break of structure here, and it's now coming into this fair value gap again.
Mhm.
So now I'm interested, Biz. When you place your order,
Yeah.
let's just say you were going. Let's say we were down here where I went in here, say before, right? So let's just say this, where I was planning to go in and take this profit. When you plan your trade, do you do a limit order or do you do a market order?
Depends where it's at. Depends where it's
Okay.
at, and then depends where the fair value of that market order is. So
Right.
if it's close to where it's at, because usually there's like a 1 or 2 cents or like a 2 point difference, and if that's the
Yep.
case, then I'll put a limit order. But if I have to execute quick, because sometimes like the move is just, it's just it's primed. Like if it was like near that bottom there, where
Yep.
it's hitting that the fair value gap, plus it looks like a liquidity sweeps type situation where you where it breaks the uptrend and it kind of
Yep.
fakes out and it goes back above it and then goes back and breaks below it again, I probably would have market ordered that because it's going to be
Right. So
very
when you
tough to, yeah.
yeah, and I agree with that. When you market order, do you also set a stop loss at that same time, or do you do
No,
it after?
after,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
I haven't been
Because that
penalized yet.
no, so I think so. I was looking at this today because, as you know, I tend to do a setup like this where I have
Well,
a
hey,
coin
hold on.
source.
Actually, I should backtrack because lately I don't want to set that amount because for whatever reason I have a feeling that they're literally trying to target people's stop loss all the time, like all
Yeah.
the time.
Yes, but you see, but remember when you do a limit order on, say, Bing X,
Yeah,
stop loss order and the take profit orders are not actually orders in the order book until they fire, and then they fire them as a market order. They're not a limit order.
yeah,
So they're not in the order book until you reach that target. It's Bing X that are managing the triggering of a market order.
really.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing about Bing X, which I found, and I found it very odd because their price action it starts to move like it goes up, it goes down, it goes down, it goes up, but it doesn't really like it doesn't really move the needle in any particular way. It's almost like they're just fluctuating between different decimal points, and when that happens, I get first of all, it as a trader it it makes me think that the market's going to turn, but it doesn't. Or it makes
Yeah.
me or it does it the other way. So anyways, what I found that is that in a sense it's kind of like manipulation to a degree. And I didn't really like that, and especially on Sol V. I noticed it big time. And if you go to MEXC, it does not do that.
Right.
Yeah. So like there's solid candles and they only move when the candle closes or when the price or when you see legitimate price action.
So you're saying that the candle is not live, it's not going up and down with price.
Well, it's weird because on Bing X, it'll fluctuate up, down, and then sometimes it'll go down, up, and there's no volume. There's like no transaction.
Yes, but if you look at a coin like this, the cost is 0.04012, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So if you say do something like this, if I just put this line here, then you can see the price. If you look on my
yeah,
right hand side, the price, it's one that moving it slightly is only to the fifth decimal place in price, right? So when a coin is so cheap like this and it's going up in one like little ticks, it's actually the fifth decimal place that is
yeah,
moving,
yeah.
right? So so sometimes it's that. If you go to a larger coin, when I traded say Aave today,
Hmm.
which was it's at $269 47 33 cents. You're only dealing with two decimal places,
Yeah,
right?
and that's better. It's better for
Right.
because yeah, you don't see
There's
that
another reason.
fluctuation.
Yeah, there's another reason why it's kind of better as well is when you're using margin on exchanges like BingX, when you go above, say, 20x, they tell you, oh, you can place an order of, say, $10,000 maximum, right? And that goes, as you go to 25, 30x, that goes down to, say, $5,000 in the smaller coins. But
Hmm.
if you're using 30x and you want to place a larger trade, it exceeds that $5,000 when it adds with the number of coins that you're buying based on leverage. So you can't take the trade. You have to go in with a smaller amount.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, so trading the larger coins where it's like $100,000 or $50,000 when you're going at 30x, that's better. You can go in with a larger entry, amount. So if you're trading small amounts, it never affects you. But the moment you start trading up, which I am now, I'm getting to each trade's becoming a larger amount. Then you have to be careful which coins you pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing
Because
is, they know exactly what coins you're buying, how much you're in, what your liquidation points are. And
yeah,
so like I really have a feeling like that it's really it happens. So it's just weird how they always target the like my stops always get triggered even at the lows, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So when I don't set them, like I haven't been setting them until the move has already been established, then I put the stops in and I start to raise them as we go along. But we only
yeah,
get this problems on the smaller tokens like XOLV is it's I don't know, it's pretty bad on Bing X in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, I traded it okay today. I've not, but I'll monitor that and see if I see what it is you're saying. I'll see if I can come
Yeah, I mean,
across
you
it.
can sort of see it right now, right? It fluctuates up and down.
Yeah, but that's because it's moving like 404,
Yeah,
405, 40,
but go check the
440.
order books.
Oh, well, no, but the order books will be lower and higher, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but the order books don't show market orders.
So what happens is that if let's just say it touches the price above where the market price is, it starts to fluctuate up and down, up and down, up and down. Like to me, it should only fluctuate at the point of transaction, and that's it. It shouldn't be
Yeah, but
fluctuating like this.
there's many transactions taking place, and many of them are are market orders, not in the order book in that
Yeah.
same way, right?
So it's
So
going to be hard for me to explain this, but if you go and check MEXC, it's similar coin, similar in terms of liquidity, and like there's barely any transactions happening, but you don't get this fluctuation where it kind of makes you feel like either the price is going to go down when it fluctuates like that or it goes up. It messes with, I don't know, if you're playing.
well, hang on a sec. There's a way to check this. Let's get rid of that, and let's go look at Binance, big exchange. So let's just see. I should put them side by side. Looks like there's not the same amount of volume on this one on
No.
Binance.
So
Um,
what this suggests is that it's pure algos that are trading this. The market makers, they you're playing the charts, you're playing the
yeah,
algos, and and it just follows that like market structure, like you say. And so once you get an invalidation of a market structure, then you start to see moves take become much more aggressive. And
yeah,
so
but
I
you
mean,
see,
this is
this is
typical.
probably down on Binance, right? Now, if I go back to here, slightly different, right? Slightly different. But I should have put Binance on at the same time, right, on my chart, on my watch list. So let's put that. This is spot, not. Actually, I wonder if they have.
So
I should.
they have a perpetual with MEXC.
They've got it on Binance.
Oh,
Okay,
they
so
got it.
let's
Yeah.
just so let's just stick that on my chart here in the same way. So here we are on Binance, and if we swap between that there, you can see there's always differences on different exchanges, right?
Hmm.
Always differences. You'd expect that because but this is being traded right now. There's like 136,000 on Binance on this 3 minute candle.
Hmm.
There's 1.3 million on BingX. So it's much more traded on BingX than it is on Binance. Much more.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting, right? Anyways, it's
yeah,
my little pet peeve with Bing X.
okay.
Yeah, because
I'll keep my eye on it, but I've not seen it.
yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
well, I mean, if it doesn't impact your trading at all, then yeah. I
No,
mean,
but the reason I asked you about the market order is that sometimes you've got a limit. Let's just use this as the example. Imagine I'm sat here now and I'm going, right, I'm going in when this comes down, right? And I've got it set up in my exchange with everything ready to rock. And all I do is flick to there, and when it comes underneath and back up, I will press go, right? And then my limit order fires when it crosses that boundary again.
Hmm.
So I don't do it on the way down because I don't want to catch a falling knife.
Yeah.
But what happens if it doesn't come all the way down, right? So sometimes you've got a limit order ready
Okay.
and it doesn't, it's trading in a range and it's going to be going back up at some point, right? So this is where your market, that's why I asked
Well,
you
here's
about
a good
market.
example right now. Like, do you think
Here
it
it is.
respects the trend line, or do you think that it comes
Right.
back down and touches the bottom of that fair value gap?
Right. So although this trend line has been broken a couple of times, it does seem to want to respect it right now. But if you go to Bitcoin, right, on the 3 minute chart, you'll see it's still in this. It's not
Yeah.
mitigated this order block, right?
So,
It's been trying. It
so
tried here, but it didn't close beneath it. So it's just like it's got. But what happens with this coin? It goes with Bitcoin for a little bit, and then
mhm.
goes, "I'm bored," and then just goes right
Okay, so
in
so
whatever.
right now, I actually would be paying attention to a rejection wick right now on the 1 minute. That's what I would be
Oh, so
doing. But the
you go for
problem,
1 minute.
yeah, but the problem right now is that because this is on Bing X and it fluctuates down, it doesn't give
Yeah,
me the validation I need. Like I need the validation that there's a strong rejection or like it's respecting. Like you see how it's there. You're seeing it right now.
yeah,
Yeah. So does it hold or does it come back down? But you see, it keeps playing around, going up and down, and I don't like
yeah.
that.
That's because it's traded a lot on Bing X, right? Interesting to see on MEXC what a 1 minute or 3 minute candle compared to Bing X. What's the order book? Is it how many are traded? Might be that like Binance wasn't moving because they weren't that the liquidity wasn't high for that particular coin, right?
Yeah.
Whereas there's obviously a lot of people trading this, and as you say, there's a lot of bots, so there's going to be bots in, out all the
Oh,
time, right?
that's mitigated.
Oh, that one is, but we were on that. We've gone down to the 1 minute, right? So if you come down to the back to the 3 minute, which is where I was, it looks like it's going to mitigate it. But your point is right that if I've done my thesis and I believe this is going to go back up, and Bitcoin is still playing ball within this range,
Yeah.
so it's going to also go back up. There comes a point where if I believe it's turned, I would hit a market order
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you kind of have to wait then for it to go to the top to come back down, right?
You just a slight hesitation and like you missing, you know,
Yeah,
two
you miss.
2 points or whatever.
Yeah, right. It just doesn't quite come under your entry,
No.
and then it turns around.
Yeah. So
What do you
now
do?
would probably be a good time where you go like you can set it and then put your tight stop because if it does break below, then
Yeah, I mean, I've had that before, right? So I've had it a few times. It comes down, it goes up, comes down, goes up, and then just at that moment, you're in your trade, and then Bitcoin tanks and it goes and tanks. I had it yesterday. The coin was DF. I remembered after the one, but it not only it stopped me out, but then a candle later dropped a massive amount, right?
mhm.
And so I was really happy to be stopped out. But as long as you're getting profits, like we have been, if we go to the Skywalker ones today, I've been showing profits in trades I've been doing, right? Then it more than mitigates any losses that you get. So who cares, right? Don't be scared to go into a trade as long as you've got your stop right. Which is why I asked you when you do a market order, do you also set your stop loss at that point as well? Because when you do it on Big X, they're not actually in the order book. They're just held by them, and their software is monitoring that target, and then it hits a market order. So
Yeah.
there's no way they target your stop loss because they don't know it,
Oh,
right?
there's
So
no. I mean, they know it. There's yeah. I
no,
did.
Bing X know it. Bing X know it,
Yeah.
but other large traders don't know it. Is what I'm saying. Nobody could get the order book and see. Oh look, there's massive amount of orders here. But
But
I suspect when it's highly traded business, a lot of people got their stops somewhere around the bottom of this order block or something like that, right?
yeah. Well,
So,
it's the market makers, right? And
yeah,
is that for the exchange? Like, is it the
I
exchange
don't know.
themselves doing the market making? I mean, it would
I don't
make
know.
sense, right? Because like that's what they want to do is that they want to control price action, right? They want to
Yeah, I don't know.
dictate. They want to play around because they're winning at the end of it. Like
They're
they're
winning with every order because they take a
it's
percentage,
all
a small percentage.
bots.
Yeah. So so they're winning no matter what. But as you can see now, this is turning around, right? So you go, okay. So on the 1 minute, you're going, okay, it's coming to this 1 minute
Oh, that
one.
was
Now it's
tough. That was tough. I mean,
so, so
that
that's a good example of. It doesn't mean that this is now going up. If we look
it,
at Bitcoin, you see
yeah.
Bitcoin is having a
Oh,
little,
that looks
and
yeah.
excuse me, and this
Oh,
reacts quite much bigger when Bitcoin has one candle. If I go down
yeah,
to the 1 minute,
yeah.
so you'll see that this is reacting like that. But if Bitcoin suddenly went back down, now Bitcoin's got a red candle here.
Oh man,
This
but it broke. It just broke a downtrend, right? Kinda,
yeah.
right?
So this is a good. This is at the point where this coin is saying, "Okay, Bitcoin, I've had enough. I'm going up anyway," right? And so that's where it doesn't quite come down to there. So you say, "Okay, it's formed a fair value gap. I'm going to do a market order when it comes down to take that liquidity, right?"
Yeah.
Um, so it's but yeah, but that was the
But
one
it,
that I did miss a valid order there, waiting for the stream. You could see it came under my entry.
yeah, it would have been
Don't
a nice one. I mean, it looks
it
pretty
would
good right now. But if you zoom out, there's that there's the longer term downtrend, and I think, well, this one here, the one that you have drawn, it's not really long
oh
term,
sorry
sorry, but relative for that swing day. Yeah, this one.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah
if it breaks above that,
oh yeah
it's going to be a pretty significant indicator.
I agree
Yeah,
which
like
is
like
why I drew it on.
when we're talking
Yeah,
about algo trading and what the algos are watching, that's exactly it. They're gonna watch that break above that trend line, and once that happens on the retest, it's going.
well that's
Yeah,
right. So if at some point it might come up and people think it's going at that point, where it tends to come back down, retest, and then go. That's kind of tends to be what happens.
I mean, how many times did
So
it hit it? So many times. Like,
it's been rejected many times, yeah.
yeah,
But as you say, at some point, if it goes to form, then it could very much go right. But anyway, that's the coin we've been trading, folks. And if we go back into the alerts, you can see Peanut is rising fast, falling less. Uni, which has actually retraced quite a bit, is rising fast, falling less. If we go into here, bullish fair value gaps. You can pause the video as long as you're watching it like very quickly. You can use these alerts, right? And try find some entries. And then from a shorting point of view, bearish ones. Lit,
so
which was actually removed from BingX the other day,
yeah,
um,
I
but
found a
it's still
really
on the.
nice way to use this alert. What I like to do is and that's how I found Solvi today, this morning, was
I know what you're going
because
to say.
it was the most rejected, or like where everything else was doing pretty well, this thing was
Yeah,
underperforming the market by a lot.
yeah,
And so of course, I really like those consolidation type patterns. And
yeah.
so it came in as a bearish break of
That's
structure,
what
but
it
it was
is. That's how I.
very, yeah,
Yeah,
it was just a slight gap size.
yeah,
However, the chart looked pretty good, and so, anyways, it presented that opportunity, and so yeah, I was just training it into the trend lines, and then
yeah.
riding it back down.
You'll see that it'll come into both because it's been going up and down. It'll be coming into bearish and bullish fair value gaps. And the nice thing is that if you're looking to trade it and you go, where do I start? And you see it's in a range. You see which channel it comes into. And you go, right, I'm going to wait for it to get to the bottom. It's halfway down now. It's coming back down. I'm going to wait and then I'm going to go in, which is what we've kind of done there, right? So you just wait again. and then you probably get in on a market
Not bad.
order.
I mean, if there was another pullback on that, I mean, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. So it's getting slightly lower highs at the moment, right? It's kind of had higher highs and now it's doing this lower high business
Yeah,
here.
but then you're
You
also
see?
getting higher lows somewhat, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're getting higher lows. Yeah. Other than we had a lower low there, but it's gone back to being higher lows. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
So as
you're
you say,
it's
might be
starting to
revving
form that
up.
little
Yeah, it's turning
pendant.
to that wave,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's let me just delete that now because it's in our way. But it could well easily maybe then start to go back up, come down, and at one point break through that, retest it, and then we might get a massive move. Um,
Yeah.
but there are
But I
many
mean,
other coins.
it does look like it's going to take a couple hours to play out, though.
Oh yeah, it's going to be by the time I finish trading, right? Later on, within another hour or so, I switch off. My eyes start to hurt. I'm fed up of looking at charts. I'll do some programming, something like that. So my mornings work out pretty good for trading. So yeah. Anyway, that's the stream biz.
Oh, snap.
Bitcoin buggering about now in a loss on the day so far. So we're kind of trending down a little bit. We're trending down. If I go to the 15-minute chart here, you can see that we're really kind of coming back down. Lower highs, lower lows.
Yeah, anytime you see like a little rainbow, like an arch on the chart pattern, it just signals kind of weakness. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So it's actually, yeah, we go back to the 3 minutes, which is I was on. It's now mitigated that order block, right? It's now broken down beneath it. And what's interesting is Sol V has now come back down because when you get Bitcoin drops like that, 90% of them follow Bitcoin. So you knew Sol V was coming back down. As soon as you saw that, oh shit, go look to Sol V. It's now come back down to your entry. It's the way it is. So, but anyway, that's it, Biz. Market's still unsure. Yeah. Uncertain times. The world's in chaos, unnecessarily in chaos. But hey, there you go. We have to work within that. And from a trading point of view, that's why these alerts are good because they help you find the coins to go in with. Simple as that.
Cool. Well, yeah, I guess that is it for today. So thank you everybody for watching. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you give us a follow at Crypto Hub HQ. And if you haven't done so, I mean, if you'd like to, and join us in the trenches, join us in our Discord. You can get our link or you can get the invite to our server at our website, cryptohubhq.cc. And yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow. So thank you everybody for watching. I'm your host Biz with Andy, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Peace out.
Happy trading, everyone.